Guys, it's Slushing. Today we're taking a look at the 2018 movie, The Nun. Now, saw this in theaters. There's a lot of hype behind this. I'm gonna start off right away. I'm not even gonna cut around the corners here. I wasn't disappointed with this movie at all, but it sort of doesn't feel like a Conjuring movie. It's just kind of like a movie that's out there, which it is a spin-off. But it is still in the Conjuring universe, as it suggests. The darkest chapter in the Conjuring universe doesn't feel that way. It does not feel like it's a Conjuring movie, other than the fact that Valak is in here. I do like the whole way that they went about doing the movie. It's not spoiler alert. This is just in advance, so if you haven't seen it, leave now. The way that they made it to where it's not about Valak, it's more so about the coming of a nun. I thought that was really cool, and that's honestly the story that I prefer over than getting a backstory or origin story of Valak, because those never really work out the way that you ever want them to. But I love what they did with that. But I don't know. There's something about this movie, other than the jump scares. There's something about this movie that just pretty much turns me off from even considering it a Conjuring movie. I mean, it doesn't. Number one, like I said, doesn't feel like it, and it's like a different Valak than we've seen in the last one. So it's very, very, very different. And it feels, honestly, the way that I described it before is it kind of feels like the It 2017 movie, where Pennywise changes into other characters. It's basically the exact same thing. The movie spins almost the exact same, doing the exact same thing as the 2017 It did. It also did it in The Conjuring 2, so I can't really fault it for that. But it did it a lot more in here. It was very repetitive, and there's a ton of jump scares. So if you're not a fan of jump scares that are pretty much predominantly the movie, do not watch The Nun. However, I will say if you're a horror fan, watch The Nun because it's still a decent watch, and it's cool to see her back in action again. And the coming of the Nun was a pretty good story, and there's some minor details that explain some stuff in the Conjuring movie, and they kind of bring it all together, but very small details. Now that I've sort of done a review of The Nun, by the way, Bonnie Aarons is The Nun is just awesome. She plays it really well. She needs a really good script though. If they do a sequel to The Nun, they need to get a better script writer in there. In fact, you know what the crazy thing is? I think it's the same guy who's written the last couple of movies. It's Gary Dauberman. Yeah, it's him. So I'm kind of surprised, honestly, why it isn't as good as the others are, but nonetheless, it's a decent movie that I'll watch a lot just because she's in there and there's a good soundtrack. So now that I've done that, I'm going to do a small ranking very quick of the Conjuring franchise as in a whole video. So The Conjuring 2 is my number one because hands down, it's just the best. I'm going to do this in order from best to worst. I know that's different, but let's do it. The Conjuring 1 is number one. The acting, having the nun in here is just awesome. Directing by James Wan, top notch. I really do love everything about The Conjuring too. It's kind of like that sequel that you really, really want. That it honestly tops the first one by far on my list. So, moving on. The second one, Annabelle Creation. I love Annabelle Creation. It is definitely the second best Conjuring film, in my opinion. Obviously, it's what's on this number on the list. Best horror movie of the year. No, this came out in 2017. It did not compete with it. But other than that, yeah, probably. No, Lights Out came out this year too, so they're very wrong with that. But it's a very good movie. I pretty much just downed the fact that it's not that good of a. It's not the best of the year. But moving on, Annabelle, my number 3. I enjoy this movie more than anybody in the world. Everybody hates this movie. Almost everybody hates it. I'm sure there's some people out there who love it. Some people say it's boring. I find it to be one of the most entertaining sequels in the franchise. So yeah, I think Annabelle, this was a great entry into the series for sure. Going on to The Conjuring, obviously. This is my number 4. Very good film, especially a good film to open up the series. Has some creepy moments, very good stuff. However, I feel like the sequels kind of overpowered the original Conjuring. It kind of makes it look like a wuss compared to the sequels that follow. It's just not as scary as the others, and there's no real creepy moments that really got me to get freaked out or whatever. However, the second one, that one gave me goosebumps a couple times, and of course, coming in at number 5, The Nun. I want to make a point here. All because these films are less than Conjuring 2 does not mean that they're terrible. They're really good movies that I'll watch over and over again. This movie is not the best that they've done, but it's not terrible. It's not something that everyone talks crap on this movie, and I don't get it. I don't think it's the best. It's certainly not the worst. It's just a movie that you watch ever so often and just watch it for the pure entertainment factor of it, and you'll enjoy it. There's a good couple of moments in there that are pretty cool and creepy. But it's a fun watch, and I don't understand the hate for it. And by the way, this is what it looks like out of the slipcover. It's nothing different. I wish that they would make the covers different from the slipcovers. Like, that would be pretty cool. But nonetheless, it is an awesome cover, though. I do like this movie a lot. I just had a lot of hype for it, and I was kind of let down a little bit, but not super. Like, not a lot, but still. Good movie, and that is my number 5. So that is the entire Conjuring series ranked from best to worst, because that's the first that I'm doing. Yeah. And I hope for more movies in the series, because the series has not died yet. They're still bringing in tons of cash. I'll be one of those people helping them bring in cash, but I love these movies and I will support them to the end. And by the way, I'm not paid to say this, but there's a new movie coming in January 4th called Escape Room. Go to the theaters to check it out. And on February 14th, Happy Death Day 2U will be out. January 19th, Glass will come out. So go see those when they release. And I want to also do a quick review of Aquaman. Great movie. Great movie. I know this is all in one video, but God, I'm gonna chock it all full. Aquaman was amazing. James Wan. I guess it's appropriate because he's the director of all these movies, or at least 3 of them, 2 of them. But great job, man. I expect you to do as great as you did. I was like, oh, it's gonna be good because James Wan's doing it. But I was kind of surprised and shocked that you were doing it in the first place. Like, he's actually gonna watch this video. But if he does, great movie. I hope you get to make more movies in the DC universe. It's honestly my favorite superhero movie that I've seen yet. So keep it up. Anyways, get back into The Conjuring. I want to see more horror movies. But go out there and just have fun. Make good movies. That's all I ask. But yeah, thank you so much for watching. Hit like, subscribe, and I will see you in the next one. Bye-bye.